Good evening, everyone. It's a beautiful day. Want to thank God for another wonderful day to come to you tonight as we look at Awaken the Leadership in You. Sorry for the little delay in starting off tonight, being about 5 minutes late. It was due to a bit of technical itch on this end, and you can see from the background that I have today that the location has changed a little bit. That's what's generated the itch. Anyway, without much ado, it's important that I'm able to at least touch base with you tonight as I look at what we have to do. Don't forget, this is the Mental Empowerment Hour of Kingdom Arena, whereby we look at books, business books, leadership books that can help us to train our mental, uh, cognitive ability to be able to play our games well on the soil of time. So we have particularly now focusing. I guess this is just about the fifth broadcast of this book as we summarize this book. Please note this is not a book review. This is a book summary. And so what we're trying to do is to look into the cogent points that are in the book that we can take home and that can be points of learning for us and help us to be able to inform our ability and improve our skills, improve our play on the platform of our career or ministry or interactions, business, or as much as it is applicable in those areas I've just mentioned. So, maximum achievement written by Brian Tracy is what we have been focusing on for a while. And it has to do with the strategies and skills that will unlock our hidden power to succeed. And remember, when we talk about our hidden power to succeed, we're talking about potential. So this is very, very, and every one of us is given potential. But unfortunately, the reality of our potential requires that we have to go extra mile to take it from where it is as a potential to make it a real achievable hand, bringing an outcome to it that shows that we had that potential. Because potential oftentimes is not seen, it is hidden. And it's got to have to be brought to fore. It's got to have to be brought to the open in the public square, whereby people can see that, wow, you are playing to your potential. That's what this broadcast is all about, helping you to be able to articulate and hone your potential and work on it until it brings forth a reality that brings blessing to the people around you. So tonight, without much ado, I want to introduce us to the next master. Remember, all what this is all about is a mastery program. Maximum achievement requires having certain number of masters. When I say masters, I don't mean going to the university to get the master's degree, but a certain mastery of skills, of program, of mindset, and all that. So we've looked at two or so of them: master program. We've looked at mastermind. Now we're going to look at master skill, and it may not be. I may not completely exhaust the time that has been allotted to this today, but I'll do my best to make sure that at least you go home with cogent points tonight. Okay, so I'm going to start showing the slides right now so that it is of great blessing to you. And wow, I think I need to let go of that. Well, it doesn't change it anyway. So, Awaken the Leadership in You, 20th of August 2021. May I even actually offer prayers before I start, even though we say it's mental empowerment, but nonetheless, we are looking at it from the perspective of spiritual backbone, spiritual infusion, and that requires acknowledging God. That requires the very person for which we are living, for whom we are living, who is the whole essence of our being, God, through the person of Jesus. Lord, we ask that you show us tonight you let there be upon the words that go forth tonight, even the residue of your spirit to bring about an impartation, not only just an impartation, creating an impact in the heart of your people. In the mighty name of Jesus, amen. So let me start with the first slide tonight. And the main idea tonight is the master skill of success. What is a master skill of success? Is to set goals and then make specific and concrete plans for achieving those goals. You know what I found out, and I think I'm just even learning that as well. I think I probably started maybe about, this is 2021, maybe I started about 8 years ago when our church was 7 years old then. Was it? I think it was. Yeah, 2006. No, is it 2006? No, not 2006. 2013. Yeah, 2013. When our church was 7 years ago, and I was seeking the face of the Lord to know what next do we start pursuing in the next 7 years, which has come and gone now. Can you imagine how time flies? That so that we can exercise and push ourselves to it. And the instruction that God gave to me then was the Leadership Institute. Why don't you start that Leadership Institute? And that Leadership Institute started. We've got about 3 classes running now, 3 year running. It took some time to have to put the structure in place to be able to run it, and then set personal goals as well. What goals do is this: if you have a vision but there is no goal attached to your vision, you are just having a daydream. It's just a daydreaming. But if you have a vision, the only way you spell out your vision is through goals. And what does that mean? What does that mean? Your vision must have an enumeration to it. It must have a numerical value. And those numerical values can play out not only in just in terms of the fact that you have a certain time to achieve them, you must be able to measure. Your vision must be measurable because it is only read, it is only spelled out in goals. I have found out through this process of meditation and reflection that the vital things that express a good health, they are all measurable. They will say they want to check your HB1AC to know the measure of sugar in your blood. That is in the medical field I'm talking about now. When it comes to know whether your blood pressure is okay or not, high or low, it is also in numbers. 120 over 80, if it's going between 140 over 90, 100, then they know there's a serious problem there. Not only that, they want to check your cholesterol level as well. Everything is a number. And it is true that they can say, oh, you have good health. But if the numbers don't fall within the standard of acceptable measurement, then they will say to you that your health is not okay. So when we are talking about maximum achievement, you got to have to put numbers to it. How much do you want to earn for you to say you are financially independent? How much are your outgoings on a monthly basis? How much is coming in? So what do you want to do? How do you match up the outgoing with what is coming in? What can you do? The vision of financial independence has to be spelled out in the amount of money that is coming into your hands and that is going out of your hands. Everything has to be in numbers. It's got to have to be a number. There are some people who say the numbers of a church doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't and it does. It doesn't and it does because God also deals with numbers. God deals with numbers. He says concerning Abraham that Abraham was going to live till good old age. How do we know the good old age that God was talking to about Abraham? And that you will live with the good old age and then you will sleep unto your fathers. When I read that, I said, how do we measure the good old age? Well, in the time of Abraham, to God, 175 years is a good old age. Because Abraham died at 175 years. His wife died at 127 years. Isaac lived to be 180 years. I think Jacob died at 147 years. Yes. So when you see that what God classifies as good old age has to do above 100 or above 120. So God deals with numbers as well. And not only that, through Moses, he says, Lord, there was a prayer that Moses offered in Psalm 90, verse 12, says, teach us, O Lord, to number our days. So there is a significance to numbering because numbering shows quality as opposed to not only quantity, it also shows quality. Think of that example I've given you concerning your health. Your good health is measured in the level of cholesterol in your bloodstream, is measured in the level of glucose in your bloodstream, is measured in the measure of the blood, I mean of your blood pressure as well. I think there are other ones as well that are also made that are they also sometimes measure the sugar, the salt. Or, I'm not so sure. I'm not a medical person, but it's just for us to be able to understand when we're talking about goals, we're talking about numbers. How much do I need to know that I'm now financially independent? So when we're talking about master skills today, it's about setting goals and then making specific and concrete plans for achieving those goals. So the supporting ideas here is to be able to identify your goals, frequently write down your answers to these questions that I'm going to be asking us now. So the first question, what are your five most important values in life? That's a very intrusive question. But what we also look at is not that intrusive because if you don't have your values clearly identified, what that means is that your behaviors are going to be erratic. And one of the good values that you can have in life is to say that, listen, I am not going to be a man of double standard. I'm going to be a man of integrity. That's a value. I'm going to be a man of honesty. That's a value. I'm going to be a man of my words. That's a value. I'm going to be a man who will not take advantage of others. That's a value. That is, you are going to give honor to others. You can't honor yourself. You can respect yourself, but you can't honor yourself. But I will give honor to others. I'm going to be a person that looks for the interests of others as much as lies within me. That's a value. So the question here is that what are the five most important values in life for you? Because that's where I start from. That's the foundation. If your values are not in place, you can be sure that your behavior will be erratic. Values, another word you can use for values is principles. What principles do you guard, do you run your life by? Principles of honesty, principles of integrity, principles of openness and transparency, principles, so many. But what are the most cogent five values that you have? Let me leave that with you for you to think through. Sometimes it takes days to be able to sit down and enumerate those values. It takes a lot of reflection. It takes a lot of asking questions. And let me give you an insight into how you can also do that. You can do that by what pains you the most, what people do to you. Because what people do to you that pains you the most also is a reflection of what you don't want to do to others. It's a reflection of what you don't want to do to others. And if you see that your life is not showing that consistency, then you can go back to it that no, I have to live to my ideal. I cannot be deceiving myself. I don't want this. Therefore, why would I give it to others? So, if you are not able to articulate those positive values, reverse the question. What could people do to me? Five things that people could do to me that will pain me the most. That also shows the things that you hold valuable. Then the next question. There are about 7 questions that I'm going to ask you under these ideas in order to identify your goals and in order for you to be able to write them down. Now, what are your 3 most important goals in life at present? That's also quite intrusive, isn't it? Because it means exposing yourself to yourself. And many of us don't like our nakedness. because when it comes to asking certain reflective, probing questions, inquisitive questions about your life, sometimes because of some of the pains of what we have gone through in the past, we don't really want to ask those questions. We run away from those questions. So here he says, what are your three most important goals in life at present? Don't hide. Don't say, don't tell yourself, don't let God know that God, I can hide. I'll need money. I need money. It reminds me of a it reminds me of an encounter I had with Jesus in April 1992. However, many years later on, the same encounter I had with Jesus, Jesus reversed it for me. I said, I have made you and I've appointed you in the same area in which I have failed the test that he gave to me. So it's good to be open to yourself and it's good to be open to God. If you can't be open to yourself, forget it. You can't be open to God. You've got to be open to yourself first. That is to say, where can I hide? I see my nakedness. I see where the bombs are. I see where things need to be. Lord, this is me. Even if I think I am hiding from myself, you can see me. I am naked. Hebrews 4:13 says, God is the one with whom we have to do because everything is open and naked before him. So if everything is open and naked before me, why then do I need to hide? If you say, what's my name? It's not because he doesn't know my name. It's because he wants me to face myself. What's your name, Jacob? Jacob is my name. And I think in that instance, the eyes of Jacob open to the patterns of his life up to that moment to see he has been a swindler. And what he has sown, he has been reaping as well because what he did with his brother is what his father-in-law gave back to him. And gave back to him good measures, pressed and shaken together, running over. So the question is, what are your three life goals? You want to be financially independent. There is nothing wrong with that. Yeah. You want your family to be at peace. You want your children to remember the positive impact. But how would you do that? Write it down as goals. Now, when we're talking about goals, again, we're talking about numbers involved. In actual fact, there's an acronym that is usually associated with goal setting, and it's called SMART, in which you've got to be specific. Your goals have got to be specific. When we're talking about specific, that's where the number game comes in. Now you got to be it's got to be measurable, so they go together. Now, when we say specific, specific means I have five fingers. Those are specific, but I have fingers. They are not specific. But I have five fingers on one hand and five fingers on the other hand. Those are specific. Now, measurable. They are measurable because I can count one, two, three, four, five. Then it must be what? It must be attainable. Your goals must be something within the time frame in which you are focusing on must be attainable. I said to you, I set personal goals for 7 years. I think I achieved one within 7 years, but the other is still pending. But at least I have left where I started from. I'm moving towards where I'm going. So that's what achievement shows. Achievement has to show that you are moving. You must be able to see that you are not where you used to be, though you have not yet been to where you are going, but you are on the way. That is, a little here, a little there, line upon line, precept upon precept, you are going forward. So, three most important goals. And I think part of it should be concerning your health. Because if your health fails, bro, sis, everything else fails. You can't play your game anymore. You can't pursue anything. So I think I go as in fact I've come to realize that listen, it is better to prevent ill health than to be looking for curative health. So what can you do? What can you spend to maintain good health? Don't let it be high, don't let it be too expensive to you. Pay the price so you can enjoy the price. So your health, then your finance, and I think your life as well, your family life. Those three things, I think they are crucial, Very crucial. Because if you're talking about family life, may also have to do with your relationship with the Father, with relationship with God. Because those ones are all in life, your whole life is inclusive in your spiritual goal. You can't separate secular. No, that God doesn't have that demarcation. You can delineate certain compartments of your life, but to say that, well, this one doesn't concern God, that concerns God. No, that's not life. The whole life is one holistic life, but many compartments. So the next question is, what would you do and how would you spend your time if you had just 6 months to live? Wow, wow. What would you do and how would you spend your time if you had just 6 months to live? Ah, that's frightening, number one. Secondly, what would I do? I think I would like to put my house in order. But it's a personal question and it's also intrusive, but it can also be very reflective. What would you do and how would you spend your time if you had just 6 months to live? Would you focus just on what you can get or you will focus on what you can give? Because fulfillment in life, I've said it again, it doesn't come from what you can get, it comes from what you can give. Whom you spend your life for, whom you spend your life on. Is your life expendable? But is it expendable for yourself or is it expendable for others? Can some people wake up today and thank God that you are born because you have impacted them? 6 months to live, what would you be? What would it be like? What would you do? Think about that. Let's move to the next question. We're talking about identifying your goals, how you can identify and how you can frequently look and review them and writing them down. Then the next question is, what would you do if you won $1 million in cash, tax-free, in Lotto this weekend? Now, this question does not assume that you are playing Lotto. Uh, it's just an hypothetical question. It's not really directing at, and it doesn't mean to validate or it doesn't mean to give support to you playing lottery. But it's just saying, just in case you have a windfall. I mean, I have seen a windfall sometimes. Sometimes last year, I mean, an investment I had made since about 20 years earlier that I've forgotten. Suddenly, the company started looking for me because I wasn't taking the dividends. And then suddenly, a sum of money dropped on my lap. What did I do with it? Because I had already had something waiting for it. So when it showed up, I knew where I had to direct it. So it's that kind of a question that supposing you have a windfall, supposing one auntie somewhere, one uncle somewhere remembered you and just decides to give you something substantial, what will you do with it? You go on an Acapulco holiday of a lifetime? What would you do? What would you do? Is it about spending it that will be priority for you or about investing it that will be a priority for you? So you see, all these things is to reveal your mindset and is to help you to reorder your mindset. Then the next question is, what have you wanted to do but been afraid to attempt? I know one that I've not wanted to do it. It's my wife who wanted to do it to me, but I've always been afraid to do it and I would never attempt it. And that is bungee jumping. That will never happen. I have been afraid to do that and I've never wanted to do it. But what is it that you wanted to do but you've been afraid to attempt? Could it be that you've been wanting to travel but you've always been thinking there is not enough money to be able to travel? I have found out that some of the dreams we have doesn't come about because we have the means to achieve them. And I have seen God's faithfulness in that. What you have always been dreaming of doing but afraid to do, if you commit it to God and start with faulty steps, like a child does when he or she is trying to walk, and then mommy and daddy are encouraging him and say, hey, A. Try it. I remember our son, when our son was just very young, well, a toddler. When he was trying to walk, that's what my wife and I used to sing to him. A. He will fall down and get up again until he mastered. He couldn't even remember that he ever had to try that. Great dreams start with 40 steps, but moving consistently until you discover that, wow, I can walk right and I can really achieve what I set out to do. Sixth question: what do you most intensely enjoy doing? What activities generate the greatest amount of personal satisfaction? What do you most intensely enjoy doing? What do you do that you intensely enjoy and you have no apology for it? You shouldn't have apology for it anyway. If you intensely enjoy it, as long as it is altruistic, it's not narcissistic. Because if it's narcissistic, somebody is having pain with it. But if it is altruistic, that is, somebody is benefiting from it as well as you benefiting from it, but you are enjoying because it's bringing satisfaction to you. So it must be something that you are giving out, not so much something you are receiving. So you need to ask yourself that question: what do I intensely enjoy doing that generate the greatest amount of personal satisfaction? Very, very reflecting question. And lastly, what one great thing would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? Wow. Ask yourself that question. What one great thing, not two things, one great thing would you attempt to do if you know you could not fail? I'm even asking myself that same question now. What one great thing would I attempt to do if I knew I could not fail? It can't come straight to my focus, but it's worth meditating on. It's worth asking questions on. Now, let's move to the next thing. The next slide. We're talking about the master skill of maximum achievement. We have looked at the master program. We have looked at the master mind. Now, we are now focusing on the master skill. And it's important for you to, let me refresh your memory again. It's important for you that you to know that the power to make your life a master skill. Now, somebody says this to me. I was listening to Mensa Otabi a few days ago, and what was it actually talking about? I think he was talking about something that is common. One of the reasons why Africa is backward is, and he said Africa is backward because of our submission to spiritism. We see spirit in everything. Long before the European people came, we had a form of deity that we worshipped. And guess what? Those ones have not given us the right knowledge to propel us forward. They've given us the knowledge whereby we thought our life was subject to them and we could not change it. So it was more or less like a deterministic uh, philosophy we live our life by. That Chisira Sira, it's been determined that you would always be a failure. He said, no, Christianity came and God showed to us through Christianity that, listen, you can be whatever God has planned for your life, and because what God has planned for your life is good, you can change your world. You can have victory over those demonic spirits that we have elevated and exalted as gods. And I said, that's true. Because when you look at our plan, our focus, it all focuses, it all central, it all around felt needs. It doesn't take into consideration the future. What can we do? Can we not put something in place in the present that can change the future and make the future better for the children unborn from our life? I said, that's very true, because all the prayers of most of those churches in our continent of Africa has to do with enemy or witches or wizards or that one, oh, this one, oh, that one, oh, this one, oh. That's what we concentrate our life on. All, everything. If anything goes wrong, now it must be a witch somewhere. Instead of sitting down, that our life is in our hand. And I want to believe that, because that's exactly what God said to Joshua. Say, listen, you need a guidebook. You need a guideline. This book of the law will give you the guideline. But it is what you do with it that will determine how successful you are. So this book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall what? Meditate therein day and night, and observe to do. Observe to do. So my actions determine my habit determine my destiny. Whatever destiny that God has for me, it's not that I will fulfill it if I hold back from doing things consistently in commensurate with that destiny. And this is where goal setting comes in. So the master program we have looked at, the mastermind, the master skill is what we're focusing right now. We have the master power that we will also look at next week. We have the master decision. We have the master goal. We have the mastering human relationships, mastering personal relationships, mastering the heart of parenting, and mastery of the power of love. And these concerns you and I. These are skills that we have to get. So mastering the master skill is what we are focusing on tonight. So once you have identified your goals, you need a program to achieve those goals. That's where planning comes in. The steps to goal achievement are: develop an intense, burning desire which will serve as a motivational force, propelling you onwards. How do I do this? I try to continuously think of the end. In my mind's eye, the end I am thinking of. Sometimes there is a little bit of deviation, a distraction, a digression, but then you catch yourself and come back to the right track that will land you where you have intended to go. So, but the key word here is intense. When it is intense burning desire, it means it's become emotional. You are emotionally engaged with it. So you cannot easily be distracted. You cannot easily be pushed off track. And that serves as a motivational force that can propel you onward. Also, develop an absolutely unshakable belief that you can accomplish your goal once you pay the price. Remember this: there is a price to pay to get the prize. The prize is your goal, but what you are trying to do is that you are paying the price, because nothing in life, there is no free lunch in life. There is no free lunch in life. Nothing goes for nothing. You pay the price will show. How much price do I have to pay before I see the price? When you are paid enough price will manifest. So you haven't paid enough until the price appears. So, secondly, write your goal down clearly, vividly, and in sufficient detail to allow you to visualize it in reality. Oh, I have a burning goal in my heart that I'm praying, I'm thinking, I'm working. I have to be able to achieve this. It's possible, because I've seen people that are not as old as I am achieving it. So it's possible that I'm able to achieve it as well. But it's got to be, and guess what? It's liberating. It's liberating. It is fulfilling. And it will make you to be able to make me to be able to be a blessing. I am a blessing, but to be able to extend the boundaries of my influence and blessing. So he says, the fourth one, say, make a list of all the benefits, tangible and intangible, you will receive by achieving this goal. Accurately, fifth question now, accurately analyze where you are starting from at present, so you have a baseline from which to measure progress. I know where I've started from already, and I'm moving towards little steps, 14 steps. Did I say 40 steps before? It's actually 40 steps. You are faltering, but you are stabilizing. You're faltering, but you are getting up and keep it going until your steps become stable. Then the next one, that's the fifth one. There are 12 things that you have to work at to help you to achieve your goal. Set a deadline for achieving your goal in order to focus your subconscious mind on that goal. Set a deadline to achieve your goal for achieving your goal in order to focus your subconscious mind on that goal. That is, when it talks about your subconscious mind, it's talking about your inner self. And then make a list of all the obstacles standing between you and your goal and ideas on ways to overcome these obstacles. Make a list. Listen, I will encourage you to come back to this broadcast to check this slide again to help you because I haven't got much time to be able to put flesh to this skeleton to make it robust for you. However, you can come back, replay this broadcast to yourself again and again, both on pay, both. I mean, those of you on Facebook and YouTube, come back to it again, look at it again, make it an examination for yourself. Put yourself in a mode whereby you are able to ask those questions. Identify the additional information or new skills you will need to achieve your goals. Sometimes you cannot solve a problem at the level in which the problem finds you. You have to improve on yourself before you can solve the problem. So also, if you start off with a goal, you cannot be the same by the time you finish the goal. The goal changes you. So the question is, what price do I have to pay to be able to achieve my goals? And make a list of the people from whom you will need help and cooperation in achieving your goal. So you see, you are not an island. Through your interaction with others, something you will discover that what you need is in the life of others, and what others need are actually they are in your life as well. Also, develop a detailed personal plan of the specific things you need to do in sequence or by priority to achieve that goal. 11th, use visualization to create a clear mental picture of how things will be once the goal has been achieved. Make the decision now that you did the last one. Make the decision now that you will never give up despite any obstacles or difficulties that might arise. Okay, lastly, once you know exactly where you are going, make a commitment to take some action on your goal every day you are alive. Build and then maintain forward momentum. Key thoughts to this master skill: success equals goals, and all else is commentary. If you achieve your goals, you are successful. And lastly, let's look at what Thomas Carlyle said. A man with a half volition goes back and forth and makes no progress on even the smoothest road, whereas a person with a full volition moves ahead steadily, no matter how difficult the path. Thomas Carlyle. Well, this is where I'm going to be stopping tonight. And next week, we will look at the master power, if I'm right. Or, yeah, we'll look at the master power uh, next week by the grace of God, where we are looking at the use of the super conscious mind, how it enables a person to accomplish virtually any goal that can be imagined. I hope you've been blessed tonight. Sorry for once again, for the late start that we have today. Uh, I am Tunde Ogedengbe, as you are aware of, the late pastor of Kingdom Arena in Luton. And what we have been focusing on tonight is maximum of achievement, the master skill, subsection of the teaching of the maximum achievement, as written by Brian Tracy. Thank you for joining me. Be a blessing to us as we have also, even though on the broadcast like this, we don't take offering, but if God lays on your heart to be of a blessing to us, don't hesitate to be of a blessing to us as we have been blessed. Tell others, subscribe to our channel if you have not subscribed to our channel before, so that you can get to know about things that are happening in Kingdom Arena. This is part of our uh, mental empowerment drive by helping you to get to know, rubbing your mind against the minds of those who have gone ahead of you. Thank you so much for joining me. God bless you richly. We hope to I hope to see you. Join us on Sunday if you are in our locality, Luton, here in England, the north of England, on your way on M1, on your way to Manchester, Birmingham. We are by junction 10 and 11 of M1. Thank you for being with us today. God bless you. See you on Sunday. Time of our worship is 11 to 11 to 1. Yes, 11 to 1. We do close earlier because of this pandemic thing. So we hope to see you once again. Thank you and God bless you. Bye bye.